that, and then...
What'd you do?
Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I wanted to chat about the future of the Trials of the Nine in Destiny 2 specifically. You know, where are we going to go from here? What kinds of changes should we expect? What's going to stay the same? And how will Destiny continue to intrigue and entertain both players and viewers in the Crucible? So let's dive in. Now, I'm going to make a bold prediction about the Trials of the Nine and its removal and future reinstatement in Destiny 2. See, Trials was taken down for a number of reasons, but when we boil it all down, it ultimately comes down to this. People generally did not like the game modes, and rightfully so. And people generally didn't enjoy the drawn-out and passive nature of Trials of the Nine. On top of that, the removal of the boon system kept many players away from Trials because of the potential waste of a lot of time. And the Trial-specific loot felt less meaningful than it did in Destiny 1. And because of this, fewer people were playing Trials regularly, and many people who stayed engaged in Destiny 1 because of the hero moments and the high-speed excitement that Trials of Osiris brought, they're no longer hooked in Destiny 2 to a much different, slower, less rewarding Trials experience. And people were also not interested in viewing Trials content in Destiny 2. The clips were slow and unimpressive, and streams feel like they just kind of drag on. You know, lots of content creators who kind of pigeonholed themselves as Trials streamers in Destiny 1, they found themselves really losing their communities almost entirely, and struggling to find a new identity for their communities and for their streams and YouTube channels in Destiny 2. Even clans that were built around playing Trials were dismembered in Destiny 2 because they lost their source of identity. So what can we expect moving forward? That's the question. So I'm going to make a few predictions here, and I hope that they end up being pretty close to correct. And as I list off these 5 things, think about what you would like to see and what your predictions might be about the future of the Trials of the Nine. So number 1, static elimination style game mode with improvements, right? In the past, Trials of the Nine has been alternating game modes between countdown and survival. Both game modes have proven to have their own problems and have mechanics that encourage bad gameplay. Slow-paced lane control and camping is highly favored in those game modes. And sometimes, in order to give yourself the best chance at winning a survival match, the best option is to have your entire team jump off the map and kill themselves to end a round you know you can't win, without feeding super energy to the other team. Now, I feel like this is a no-brainer. Any video game that encourages mass suicide of your whole team is bad. No competitive game mode should ever allow suiciding and essentially not playing a shooter to be the best option. That is downright terrible design. If your best option to win a video game is to not play the video game, then you have failed as a designer to deliver a competitive experience. I predict that instead of continuing to force the game modes that already exist in the competitive ranked playlist, Bungie instead will focus on improving the Trials model that existed in Destiny 1. Call of Duty has recycled and improved upon the same game modes for years and years now. So has Halo. So has Gears of War. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking a staple of your game that is a fan favorite and bringing it forward into future releases like Destiny 2. There's no reason to do away with the elimination game mode that people adored in Destiny 1. I think they'll restore it, update it, and improve upon the D1 model to make a new and exciting Trials experience that feels like its own unique experience. This way, it won't just be competitive playlist 2.0, right, with a different narrator, you know? The elimination style game mode will also put an end to the suicide strategy, because in survival, if you're out of lives and the enemy team has all of theirs, you're done for. But in elimination, fighting for a revive is still an option, and leveling out the playing field is only ever a kill or two away. So prediction number 2. New Trials gear that is enticing and rewarding, maybe even exotics, triumphs, titles. Now, I believe that Trials will get a reward system overhaul. Look at the competitive playlist. There are now a couple of very unique and very powerful weapons that are tied directly to competitive gameplay, the Claymore and the Luna's Howl/Not Forgotten. These things have served as enticing rewards for dedicated players. Also, have a look at the Gambit reward system. People are now pursuing these randomly rolled powerful weapons like the Trust, and even a set roll for investing dozens of hours into Gambit on a Cluster Bomb Riven Slayer rocket launcher on your second reset of Infamy is now available. So there's a Gambit-specific exotic even in the form of the Malfeasance that has perks specifically linked to Gambit gameplay. I think Trials will follow suit. I think we'll see must-have items as well as items that will be a chase and a grind to acquire. Items that you can show off and flex. I think we'll see new vanity items like emblems and shaders and ghosts and sparrows that you can show off. We may even see an exotic that is tied specifically to Trials, or a unique legendary like the Howl or Claymore that people will race to get their hands on. And these are things that create longevity in a playlist like Trials. Players need meaningful things to chase, and I think that Bungie is really starting to catch on to this lately. Alright, prediction number 3. I think that we'll have a new narrative involved that sheds light on the Nine and their purpose for the Trials. So the Nine are mysterious beings, and not a lot is known about them. There are nods in the lore of Destiny to the Nine, and hints at their sort of origins. Maybe being linked to the Genesis story of the Awoken and their long journey through the singularity into a world in another universe, potentially created by Marasov's thoughts. They could be closely connected to the Queen and the incoming war against the Black Pyramid Darkness enemies now actively closing in on our solar system. The Trials of the Nine, it could very well be the Nine's way of sort of sifting out guardians that may be suited for the kind of ruthless violence that they think is needed to take on this age-old enemy of the light now approaching. And there's a chance that the Nine wanted no part in the Travelers' war with the darkness, but now know that they stand in a direct path between the darkness and the Traveler itself, and so war is inevitable. But at the end of the day, we only have minor hints here and there. We're, now several years after knowing that the Nine exists. It's time for some more answers, maybe not definitive answers, but at least more information to draw from. I think that when the Trials of the Nine returns, we'll have some new voice lines from the Emissary, new lore triumphs to pursue, and new lore tabs on gear that we acquire that'll shed light on the Nine, their origins, their purpose, and their intent with the Guardians of the Last City. Alright, prediction number 4. I think that the boon system will return. Or, in some form. One of the biggest problems with Trials of the Nine in year 1 was the fact that players would often leave a match at the outset, or, just one round in. The second they realized this match wasn't going to go their way, they decided that they weren't going to stay. Trials in Destiny 2 is long, it's drawn out, and full cards often take twice as long as a single card in Destiny 1, so players who want to go flawless will often just leave because they don't have 10 minutes or 15 minutes to blow on a match that they know they're going to lose, just to have to restart their win streak all over again. They're saving time by leaving. There's no mercy boon, no safety net to protect them from the loss and preserve their streak. So these people, they may have to get back to work. They have jobs. Not everyone's like me. Not everyone does this for a living, right? They've got jobs that may have other responsibilities they need to get to. School, wives, kids, dinners, whatever it may be. People just don't have the time to blow on unwinnable matches that will cost, them time out of their day. So this led to many Trials cards being defined by, more time in orbit and loading screens than actual combat. And it was boring. It was downright boring. The boon system can help protect against that. We should see the return of the Mercy Boon and others that will help encourage players to stay for every match, even if it means taking a loss and using their Mercy and continuing their card like it never happened. I predict we'll see this system finding its way back into the Trials environment. Alright, prediction number 5. Stay with me on this one. 3v3. Of all the predictions that I have, this one is probably the most far-stretching and least realistic, but I'm hopeful. We got our 4v4, right? Players asked for a 4v4 option since the beginning of Destiny 1, but no one ever said we wanted it to replace 3v3. And in D2, we overcorrected. We went to only 4v4, and nobody wanted that. No one expected that. We liked 3v3. We even loved 3v3 as an option. We never wanted it taken from us. I loved skirmish. I loved salvage. I loved trials, and a lot of people did. But in Destiny 2, that's gone entirely. We have our 6v6 and our 4v4, but we lost that 3v3 that brought some really unique dynamics to the Destiny universe. And I think that there's a chance that we'll see that when Trials comes back, they'll want it to be unique. They'll want it to be a unique Crucible environment that's totally unlike competitive, and it's totally unlike quick play. Making it 3v3 again would do exactly that, and I think that it's important to have that variety. Destiny 2 Crucible is the best it's ever been right now, but, there's a but, it's not sustainable. People will get bored. People will move on. 3v3 Trials Elimination brought a different experience into the rotation weekly, regularly in Destiny 1. And I think we need that in D2 to keep that longevity going. We need that to keep players engaged and interested, and I think that Bungie knows that. So I sure hope we see 3v3 come back. That way, we have all these options that are different experiences every week. We don't have to play the same thing over and over and over again. Like right now, I'm playing a ton of quick play and I'm having a blast, but I'm nervous for the day that I turn on Destiny 2 and I'm like, quick play is the same today that it was 2 months ago. You know what I mean? I don't want to end up there, and I don't want Trials just to be a regurgitated version of the competitive playlist. I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that. So there you have it. Those are my 5 predictions for the Trials of the 9. And I hope we see it back in the next season, Season 5. Let me know what you think. Do you think these are solid predictions? Do you have some different predictions of your own? Do you see yourself ever investing time into Trials again? And what would it take for you to want to play it again and to grind out those wins? Let me know in the comment section. I do read all the comments, believe it or not, for better or worse. I do read all those comments. A lot of them make me feel really good. Some of them make me feel like gouging my own nipples out with a melon baller. But you know, it is what it is. Sort of comes with the territory. You know, you just kind of expect it at this point. Some people are mean. Some of you guys are just downright bullies. Yeah, screw you people. Nah, but seriously, I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for watching this one. Let me know what you think. Please, in the comment section, I will read it. I may not respond to it just because it's a lot of time to respond to hundreds of comments. You know, but I try to get to ones here and there, and I do read your feedback. Thank you so much, everybody. Love you. Hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.